Good morning, rise and shine. It is Craig Bennett, aka Cash Keg, here with DFSArmy, and I have another podcast here we're going to do and talk about the New England Patriots against the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Just a single showdown slate. We got two on Friday. We got a big slate of preseason games, but we'll just go in and knock this out. Kind of talk about both sides of it. Do some lineup construction for both Draftkings and Fanduel. And again, if you haven't checked out our Prize Picks tool, head on over to DFSArmy.com. And use promo code CashCake and get that VIP membership. And it's been crushing, man. So I'm looking forward to the next 5 days of using that, making some money. I feel like the lines are soft. But with that, though, let's just get in and build some lineups here on DraftKings and FanDuel and see what we got. All right, as you can see, I have DraftKings up on the board right now. Again, we'll just do both FanDuel and DraftKings. Really, the only difference is on DraftKings, they use defenses, and on FanDuel, they don't. I mean, that's the big difference. But I've been looking around some news this morning, trying to find out what these teams are going to do. It's a little bit different this year, right? There's not 4 preseason games. We only have 3. This, we would guess, would be the week we would see the starters get the most playing time. We would feel that they probably wouldn't play too much next week. And if that's going to hold true to form, then we can probably consider that, you know, guys like Cam Newton might play a little bit more because he only played 12 snaps last week. So, and he didn't look great, and he probably has something to prove here if he wants to keep this starting job over rookie Matt Jones. So, I think we'll see a little bit more out of Cam here. I don't think, I think it could be anywhere from, a quarter to 2 quarters. He could play the whole first half. I'll dig more into this information when we put up notes again over at DFSArmy and have exactly what's going on. But the stuff I looked at last night and this morning, I didn't see any clarity into exactly what Coach B was going to do, because I don't know what Belichick's going to do. But those are 2 guys are probably going to see the most playing time. I have no problem playing Cam Newton or Mac Jones here. Again, Cam's going to have to show something if he wants to keep that job. So we'll keep that in mind. I think you can run both of them here. I think you start out again with the defenses. Just looking at the total in this game, it's still in the mid 30s. So it's just defenses just tend to do really well in preseason on DraftKings. So if I was going to lean a little bit on the defenses, I would lean maybe on the Eagles side. Just if Mac Jones is going to get a lot of time, maybe he makes some mistakes a little bit. On the other side with Jalen Hurts and Flacco. But again, if you're running a single DraftKings contest, you're probably playing both defenses and probably one up at captain. Generally, that's how we do it. But again, until we get more news, depending on what they're going to do with their starters and how much time they're actually going to run these guys out here, it's really hard to decide. Because when we look at, we'll throw. I think I'm going to throw Mac Jones into this lineup in the flex. And I'm going to throw Cam in here as well. And the defense, I'm going to throw the defense up here at captain. Like I said, I think generally in cash, you just throw one of them up there. Unless we're going to get a full half out of Cam Newton. Or on the other side with Jalen Hurts, if we're going to see a full half of him, I would consider those guys up at captain because they can definitely put some points on the board if they're going to get that much time. But again, we'll have to see what's going on. The running back situation over here, the Pats, is a little bit, they run a ton of running backs. Damian Harris, James White, Sony Michel. Those 3 guys didn't get a lot of snaps week 1. I don't think they're going to get a ton here. Maybe Damian Harris, might get a little bit more run in this first half. So he's the kind of guy that I could definitely see playing. I don't know if I want to play a lot of James White. He's more of that third down, catch the ball out of the backfield kind of guy. I don't know how much they will need to use him in that role. Sony Michel saw the most out of the 3. So he's the kind of guy that I would consider too if you're looking at playing this. And then Stevenson, we got to talk about him. He had 2 touchdowns, and he had that late 90-yard touchdown run. I still think we're going to see some of him because he did look good, but I think he's going to be severely owned in this contest just with the gaudy numbers that he put up last week. So Just keep that in mind when you're rostering these guys. JJ Taylor saw some decent snaps as well. Actually saw more snaps than Stevenson. He just did a little less with them, but he's another guy that you can consider one of these guys. JJ Taylor is going to have way less ownership than Stevenson if you're looking for the ownership game, just with that monster game that Stevenson did put up. So those are the guys I would look at. Damian Harris, Sony Michel, Stevenson, and JJ Taylor. Just depending on the more news that we get towards the afternoon. If they're going to run these guys as starters out a half, then I have a lot of interest in Damian Harris. And then, we still have mop-up duty, so I don't mind Stevenson and JJ Taylor at all. But those would be the three guys I would look at here on this side. And I think I'm going to throw in Damian Harris here, but I have no problem. Like I said, Stevenson's going to be super popular. So I don't mind if you want to roll him out there, depending on the news we get. Wide receivers, I'm just going to stay away from this and cash games and tournaments for sure. We didn't see any Aguilar last week. We need a ton of snaps out of N'Keal Harry. He did see a lot of work. I think he had over 30 snaps last week, and he led all wide receivers here. So we could see, if you want to take a shot at a wide receiver, maybe N'Keal Harry. If we get a full half out of Cam Newton and stars, maybe we can look at Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, something like that. If you want to take some shots at them in tournaments, I have no problem with that. I still think Cam is super inaccurate, and I really don't like ever playing wide receivers from the Patriots. But that's where I would look at. I don't think I would look at any of these guys towards the bottom of the list. I think it's N'Keal Harry, like Myers or Bourne, the guys I would look at. I'm not sure I would look at these guys like Zuber or anything like this on this slate. Christian Wilkerson, if you want to take a jab at him, he played over 30 snaps as well, and he's at the bottom of the depth chart. But depending on the playing time, we could see less snaps for those guys and more snaps for the top guys. But again, if you're playing cash games, stick to quarterbacks, stick to running backs, and stick to the defenses. Now, the kicker situation here. Nick Folk did miss, been missing practices. So Quentin Nordin is going to be their only kicker. I don't think, Folk's going to play. He's missed a lot of time. So if you're going to pick a kicker, which I have no problem doing, Nordin would be your guy. And then, tight end situation, again, I'm not going to really mess with this as well. We know Hunter Henry is out. Jonnu Smith, I guess it would be at it. He missed some practices though, this week. So, maybe we'll have to look at a Matt Lacoste or a Sai. I just not too excited about playing the tight ends, but if we do have, some of these guys where if Jonnu Smith did sit, then how shallow they are at tight ends. Maybe we could look at playing one of these guys, but nobody that I'm super excited about playing. Said in cash games I would. In tournaments, take a few shots at them if you want. Over on the Philly side, like you said, quarterback situation, it really is all gonna hinge upon, how much playing time we're going to see out of Jalen Hurts. He only saw 10 snaps last game, against very similar to Cam Newton. I think we're definitely going to see more time out of him. Is it going to be a full quarter? Is it going to be a full half? We'll have to wait and see, what news that we do good. But I think we're going to see more playing time out of him. I don't mind playing him. Again, we'll have all this documented in our notes section for this slate. But if he's going to play more time, you definitely want him. Joe Flacco went off because he had that nice little, hit Quez Watkins with a screen, and he took it to the house last week. And Watkins was in there in one of our core plays as wide receiver. Again, it's preseason. One catch, boom, took it to the house. He needed him to win GPPs. Devontae Smith, I'm not sure if we'll see him or not, the rookie. He looks really good in practice this week. But I'm not sure they'll play him just coming back from injury. So, we'll probably see Jalen Reagor, Ward, Fulgham, Watkins, those guys again, if you're going to look at the wide receiver position. But again, if you're playing cash games, basically it's going to be Jalen Hurts. I don't want a whole lot of Flacco. I don't want a whole lot of Mullins on this week. I think Jalen Hurts is the guy for me if I'm going to pick one guy that I'm actually looking at playing. But again, until we get a more, accurate report of what they're going to do, with these guys, it's basically just Jalen Hurts or Flacco for me if you're making a decision here. Both teams have 3 quarterbacks on the roster that are probably going to play today. Like I said, the wide receiver position, it's more, if we're going to see a bunch of, the guys out of the first half, the starters, then, Rager probably be a guy I have a lot of interest in. Ward, Fulgham, those are the guys I would look at. If it's going to be similar to last week and just a little bit more playing time, I think Quez Watkins is still a guy I would have consideration in with what he did last week, and to get him the ball would be I'd look at. And then I'm not too interested in these other wide receivers, Arcega-Whiteside, Patton, Osborne. I don't have any interest in these guys very much. The running back situation, we didn't see any Miles Sanders week 1. So, that's something that, if they're going to play the starters, he could see some run here. Pretty sure I read that they just got rid of Kenyon Johnson. So, all these guys got a little bit of run. Boston Scott got a few snaps. Jordan Howard, they're pretty deep in this running back situation. So until we get some news a little bit, later today, we can consider a couple of these guys. But if Miles Sanders is going to play and he's going to start, and if they say he's going to play a quarter or two, he's a guy I would definitely consider playing for sure. And then Kenneth Gainwell, I really like this kid. He saw the most snaps last week. He's probably going to be, him and Huntley will probably be the garbage time heroes again. I prefer Gainwell than I do Huntley. So if I was going to pick one of them, be him. But again, if we're going to see a little bit more of the starters and some of these guys, Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders would be the guys I would definitely consider here. I'm going to take the defenses off here. Because again, if you're playing cash games, I played both defenses, but if we're going to see starters playing in the half, I'd want more of these skill position players. So I'm going to put Jalen Hurts up at this captain position if we see a half at him. If not, I wouldn't put him up here in tournaments. And then, running back wise, like I said, Howard, Miles Sanders. I'm gonna throw Miles Sanders in this. If he's gonna play, like I say, he didn't play last week, but if he plays this week and we're gonna see some good time out of him, I don't mind him. Like I said, or Jordan Howard, don't mind him, or Gainwell. That's kind of how I'd rank those guys. Tight end wise, didn't see a lot of time out of Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert. So those guys saw very limited snaps. I think, you can consider these guys with how much they throw the tight ends. If we're going to see more of the starters, again, we'll have to have that information to be able to play these guys, but didn't see very much. Richard Rodgers we could look at. I don't think I think Tyree Jackson is hurt, so Rodgers would move up in the depth chart a little bit. And then kicker wise, Elliott, they only got one kicker on the roster, so it's Elliott here. So I think kickers are very much in playing cash games on this slate, with them only having one on each side. So I don't mind playing, kickers in your cash games and defenses. But just kind of putting some skill position players in this lineup is kind of how I would look at it. If I was going to play cash games, again, it would be probably both defenses. I would pick pretty heavy on the quarterbacks. My hard decision is, do you play Cam Newton and Mac Jones together, or you just play one of them? And then I definitely want Jalen Hurts on the other side depending if we get a full half out of him. If this is week 3 of the preseason last year, I would say, yeah, I want a lot of these starters because they're going to play a full half. But being such a, different situation this year with only having 3 preseason games, the coaches are going to do a little bit different. I mean, there are some coaches that come out and they're not going to play any of their starters the whole preseason. So it's just a different animal. We just got to have to take it, a day at a time. And as we get news, we'll update things. It's hard to do these videos when I don't have all the information, but that's the part of DFS. It constantly moves. This just I'm just talking what I know now. And then we'll update things as we get more news that flow in. But again, cash games, play those defenses, play your kickers, focus on your quarterbacks and running backs. And then in tournaments, look for those wide receivers that have that big play upside, like Quez Watkins last week. Like Jalen Reagor, guy that's got big play upside as well. Guys like that. Let's head on over to FanDuel. Again, very similar situation. We just don't do you don't have to worry about defenses at all here. So it's a little bit different build because of that. I think what you're going to do is you're going to play both kickers here over here in cash games. They only have one each. I don't even mind the kickers up in MVP and FanDuel because of the lack of things. I think it's going to be the kickers for me. I'm going to look at playing the quarterbacks and then maybe look at the running backs. The running backs on the New England sides, like I said, I think we're going to see a ton of steam out of Stevenson with what he did. But let's just throw a kicker up here, man. Let's throw Norden up at MVP. Let's throw Elliott in here as well. Two guys that they only got one kicker on each team. They put up some decent numbers with these field goals. So if Cam Newton's going to see a half, I want him in there. If Jalen Hurts is going to see a half, I want him in there. And then, I don't mind even a Mac Jones if you want to go this way, or if you're like, no, I don't want to go Cam Newton. I don't think he's going to see as much time. They want to see what they have at a Mac. If we get that news, then I'd want Mac. Jalen Hurts in my cash if they're going to play him more. And then I would look at, throwing this last running back in. Is it JJ Taylor? Is it, Stevenson? Or is Miles Sanders going to go out there and actually, play some snaps depending on how much time he sees? I think that's what you're looking at. But I really like playing both kickers over here on FanDuel. It's pretty straightforward with what we're looking at. Again, quarterbacks and running backs. I went through everything already, but this is kind of how the lineup build I would see. Until we get the news, I'm going to just think about playing a kicker up at MVP for me. I don't really have a lean if I want Elliott or Norden. I guess I would lean Norden a little bit, but that's kind of how I would see things if I was going to play one of these guys here. So I hope that helped a little bit. Again, until we get more information, it's just going to be one of those things where, we just got to, get the information and dissect it and put that out there for you guys. So if you want all those notes and everything going on, you can head over to our Discord channel. You can hit the link below, sign up to DFSArmy if you want those cheat sheets and the projections that are in our optimizer. You can build 150 lineups. Everything's in-house. We take care of everything in-house. So with that, I'm Cash K. I'll see you on the flip side. Deuces.